The movie The Circle, released in 2017, starring Tom Hanks and Emma Watson, rated relatively poorly with reviewers. But I didn't mind the content. If you're interested in tech, then it's worth the watch. I mean, I can't remember how many terrible movies I've watched about basketball, but just because the topic was about basketball, I enjoyed it. The Circle itself, it's not a spectacular movie, and the audience didn't quite understand the quirky and outrageous behaviours of the characters to see the humour. But to me, that sums up the whole movie. User error. The movie did bring up some interesting points of interest. Number one being digital voting and democracy. My understanding of democracy is that unless it is unanimous, democracy always creates a minority. Now, minorities are not necessarily a bad thing and should not necessarily be dismissed, even if it's not the popular thing. The digital voting should definitely be adopted into governance. We have the technology for it to exist and for it to be secure. Only if people are willing to give up some of their identity, and we already do, a lot of it. Where I don't agree is that voting should not be mandatory. Mandatory voting does not give a true indication on the way to go about a topic, especially if the voters are ignorant to the topic or if the voters are not interested in the topic. They just vote without conscience. The only way mandatory voting would work is if there was an additional option that people can choose, like we don't have enough information about this topic to make a judgment. And if this vote ranked the highest, then government would have to revisit the topic. Anyway, voting should be a privilege attained after acquiring knowledge and understanding of a topic. This knowledge would be made open for all people, so those that invest time into the topic can contribute to the decision making. This would also eliminate the lazy bought votes. Technology is not to blame. This movie displayed the intellect of casual users as being hyped up idiots with low moral substance, which is pretty accurate for 2017. Technology is not to blame for tragic events involving technology. Same as guns are not to blame for tragic shootings. A user still has to load a gun before it can be fired. Okay, it is true that the public lacks compassion, understanding and education, and the user is where the problem lies. We just have a hard time taking responsibility. Total transparency in government. This should be implemented immediately. If you're in public office, I don't see why this would be a bad thing. I would also add that I would be more favourable to deal with a company or business that was completely transparent about all their dealings and communication. Now, agree or disagree. Share your thoughts, and especially that last one that I'm not 100% seeing at the moment. If you haven't seen The Circle, give it a watch. It's not a must-see cinema experience, but good enough to see with your friends or at home. Subscribe, like and share, and remember, living is good for you.